Hello ladies and gentlemen, Luke Rethke here, and I just wanted to tell you a story about something that happened to me when I was doing my final grading business. This probably happened about 7-8 years ago, maybe 6 years ago, somewhere in there. And final grading, what that is basically getting a new home ready for landscaping. You have to grade it right so that the water drains away from the house and out into the street or wherever it's supposed to drain, rather than towards the house, into the window wells, into the basement, into the siding and whatnot. So I graded this house over in Windsor. The guy's name is Jim Tyndall. Still remember it. Real nice guy. He's with Tyndall Plumbing. Pretty sure he wouldn't care about some free advertising here. And the house failed. The grading plant, my job failed, and I had to go back out there and do it again. And when I went back out there and looked at the stakes where the engineers had the stakes, I had it graded just with the general guidelines of the town of Windsor, 5% away from the house, which is 6 inches and 5 feet, and then also 2% towards the street, which is basically in about 75 feet roughly. It was roughly about 1.4 feet, give or take. And this was, I don't think it was any more than 75 feet. It was probably about 60 feet if I remember right, and they wanted 2.5 feet of fall. And for whatever reason, I think maybe they just want more water to get into their system. They don't want the water to seep into the ground and water the grass. They want that to hit the street and run down to their system so that they can charge for it. Get it back into, I mean, Windsor might not be able to recharge for that, but somebody gets that water and then cleans it up and then charges the citizens for it. So what happened was they wanted their transit to read that certain point, and so I called the guy with the city of Windsor. His name's Rick Anderson. He probably still works there, probably makes $100,000 a year of taxpayer money, and he wouldn't even come out of his air-conditioned office to look at what I was talking about with my eyeball. I told him there was a problem, that the stake shows that the dirt needs to be sloped towards the house, and you can't slope it towards the house. You have to slope it away from the house or you're going to have problems. There's a window well there, there's siding there, and you just can't do it. So I met with him on 2 different occasions. Both times I had to sit out in the hall after my appointment and wait for like 20 minutes till he was good and ready to talk to me. He wouldn't, like I say, come out to the job site to look at what we were talking about. He just said that they had paid a lot of money for those plans and that they had got an engineered stamp and that I needed to follow the plans. So basically what I did was I just graded the whole yard correctly, and then I put a dirt hill right there where I knew that they needed their shot for their transit. And when the engineers came and saw what I'd done, that they were perfectly fine with that. They knew what was going on. They didn't want to argue about it. It was kind of, I set it up to where there was like a little trough in between the dirt mound and the house for the water to run, and it also, that way the landscapers could easily just remove that dirt mound. It was probably a few years after this had happened where I'd heard people around calling the public official there the Dirt Nazi. That's not a name that I came up with, but I'll repeat it because that's basically what everybody else calls him, is the Dirt Nazi. If you don't get that dirt within 1 inch of the plans, you will have to drive back out there and do it again. So it seems like a lot of these towns would be on a black budget if they didn't have people like this in their offices.